Hello everyone. Today we're going to look at percent increase and decrease problems. When we have problems that deal with words like increasing, decreasing, more, less, and percents, we're going to use the following formula. It looks close to our basic percent formula. That would be this guy right here. But instead what we're doing is we're adding or subtracting that p times b to the original b. We're going to use addition if it's increasing or more than, and we're going to use subtraction when it's decreasing or less than. Okay, so we take the original amount b and then add or subtract a percentage of b to get a. I like to think of b as before and a as after, as opposed to base and amount in these problems, because sometimes it can be a little harder to determine which one's b and which one's a. So as an example, a dress is originally worth $150, but it's on sale for 20% off. What is the sale price? So I know that P is 20%, so I'm going to plug that in right away. I also know it's subtraction because it's 20% off, which means I'm taking it off, I'm subtracting it. So just this fact gives me the minus and the 0.2 for P. What I'm going to do next is, before I plug in b or a, I'm going to simplify the left-hand side. B minus 0.2b is 0.8b. So remember, b is really 1 times b. So 1b minus 0.2b is 1 minus 0.2 times b. So 0.8 times b. And now I have to decide which one is the 150. Is the 150 the b or is the 150 the a? So it says the dress is originally worth $150. So original is before. So 150 is B. So I plug in 150 for B, and I want to solve for A, so I just take 0.8 and multiply it by 150. And I get $120. Okay. And you can always double check it, right? Does it make sense? If something's 20% off and it's 150, does 120 sound reasonable? Okay, you should always check to see, does my answer make sense? So let's try a couple more. A, what number increased by 15% of itself is 23? So a number increased means I'm going to add. 15% is 0.15 for P. So I have B plus 0.15 times B equals A. Again, before I plug in what B or A is, I'm going to simplify the left-hand side. So 1B plus 0.15B is 1.15B. So what number increased by 15% of itself? So really what this is saying is that I have a number, I don't want to call it a number, we'll call it C because I'm not sure right now if it's B or A. What number increased by 0.15 of itself is 23. So if I'm just translating from math to English, I get exactly this equation, which means that C, the number I'm looking for, is actually B, and the 23 is the A. So is 23 equals A, is A, 23 is A. So to solve for B, I'll divide both sides by 1.5. and I get that B is 20. And again, I can always double check this. What's 15% of 20? And if I add that to 20, do I get 23? And the answer is yes. Question B, 400 is what percent more than 350? So again, I have my original equation. I have to figure out which one goes where. So 400 is A, so A must be 400, which means that B has to be the 350. So 350 plus P times 350 is or equals 400. So again, 400 is the same as equals 400 in math. So to solve for this, I'm going to subtract 350 from both sides. So I have P times 350 equals 50. Then I'm going to divide by 350. And as a decimal, I get some crazy decimal. P equals 0.14286, and it keeps going. But remember, the question is what percent. So this is the decimal form. I need to change it to a percent. So P is 14.29%. So I want you to round to at least the tenths after you've changed it to a percent, but I'd rather you go a little further. So I'm going to go to the hundredths after I've changed it to a percent. So 14.29%. So here's another question. An item costs $37.45 after a 7% sales tax. What was the original price? So, and I know P is percent. I know P is 7, or 7% rather. And I know that sales tax gets added on to a number. So I'm going to add 0.07B. So I still have to decide, is the 37.45 the A or the B? And I actually see it right away. It says an item costs $37.45 after a 7% sales tax. So again, after, I think of as A. Oops, I also combined B and 0.07B. Then I plug in my A. So A is the 37.45. Again, that's the price after the sales tax. I want to find B, divide both sides by 1.07. And I get that B is $35. So this was an exact $35. Remember that dollars have to go to the hundredths place. So if there was change, I'd have to go to point something something and round correctly. This one happened to be exactly $35 though. D, Nate makes $15 an hour last year, and he makes $17.50 an hour this year. Find his percent increase in hourly wage. So again, this time I'm looking for a percent. So I have my basic equation here, and I have to figure out which one is B, which one is A. So he made $15 an hour last year and makes $17.50 an hour this year. Which one is before and which one is after? So last year comes before this year. So last year must be before, and this year must be after. So for B, I plug in the 15. There are two B's, so I have two 15s. And then, I guess I changed the problem. I guess I made this $18. I forgot to change it in the original problem. So he makes $18 an hour this year. So again, that's supposed to be 18. So I subtract the 15 from both sides, and I get 15P equals 3. Divide both sides by 15, I get P is 0.2, but again, it wants it as a percentage. So I have that P is 20%. So don't forget that if you're looking for a percentage, mathematically you find the decimal and then you have to change it to a percent. E, Mark wants to decrease the number of hours he works per week by 12%. If he works 45 hours per week now, how many hours per week is he aiming for? So I know that P is 0.12, so I'm going to plug that in. I also know that he wants to decrease his number of hours. So decreasing means subtraction. So B minus 0.12B equals A. And then I have to decide, is the 45 before or after? Is it my base or my amount? So he works 45 hours per week now. How many hours does he want to work later? So now versus later. Now comes before. So the 45 must be the B. And again, I combined my B minus 0.12B to be 0.88B and then plugged in the B. So you might as well combine the left-hand side before you plug in the B. Do out the math, and you get 39.6 hours. And for our last example, Bob wants to buy a house. It's listed for $260,000, and he ends up paying only $235,000. What percent discount did Bob get? So this is a discount. So I'm subtracting my PB. So I have B minus PB equals A. Because again, discount means subtraction. So I need to figure out again which one is B, which one is A. It's listed for $260. He ends up paying $235. So it was $260 before, and it was $235 after. So B is $260, and A is $235. Okay. So again, I'll subtract the $260,000 from both sides. I get negative 260,000 P equals negative 25,000. So notice when I divide by my coefficient, I'm going to get a double negative that's going to go away, which makes sense because a percentage has to be somewhere between 0 and 100%, unless you're getting things that are bigger, but it can't be a negative. Okay. So I'll divide, and I'll get P equals 0.0962. And again, that's the decimal. I want the percent, so that becomes 9.62%. Okay, so make sure you read through the book, try the worksheet, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.